Good evening, Board of Education, Dr. Madison, faculty, parents, and students. I'd like to welcome you to the graduation ceremony honoring Middlesex High School's class of 2015. Graduates, this important day is all about us. It's about recognizing our success, reflecting on our accomplishments, and accepting the path for our futures. However, it is also a day of remembrance. Today, we look back at all the times we had together. Whether they were good or bad, they will be cherished in our hearts forever. I am glad that I am able to say that this senior class is like a family, a bond that truly cannot be broken. No matter what obstacles were thrown our way, we always stood by each other as any great class should. 4 years ago, we entered the halls of MHS as timid freshmen, unaware that the years ahead of us would fly by. With all of the new surroundings, we realized what a huge transition it was from middle school to high school. Going into sophomore year, not much changed. We felt more accepted by society only for the mere fact of not being known as freshmen anymore. But other than that, we were just breezing through school, anxiously waiting for summer. By the time junior year rolled around, we were finally considered upperclassmen. However, all the stress and grades of SATs were setting in, and we were finally being introduced to all the talk about college and the future. Little did we realize, all of these years that flew by, we are never going to get back. Now, standing here today, I still remember years ago when my parents warned me with the words, "Enjoy high school while it lasts, and the next 4 years are the fastest years of your life." Now, I regret ever ignoring those words because there are definitely ones to consider. High school, being the best 4 years of your life, really does pass by in the blink of an eye. Looking back at all the memories, we will never forget the friends we made, the bonds we formed, and the teachers who inspired us along the way. These friendly faces beside us and the precious moments we shared are the ones that help us grow and mature to discover who we are. These great experiences will motivate us to be the best that we can be, and they will stay with us forever. We have spent 4 years building our character, friendships, and memories. Now it's our turn to take these values that the school has instilled in us into the new chapter of our lives. So graduates, look on either side of you and take a second to congratulate or wish luck to your classmates, because the faces you see sitting next to you today, you may never see again. The future can be scary to think about, but I have great confidence that every one of you will be successful in whichever path you choose. Congratulations, class of 2015. I wish you all the best of luck. Thank you.
Walt Disney once said, "The difference between winning and losing is most often not quitting." Throughout our high school years, there have been times of celebration and uphill battles. But as we move forward and we close this chapter to begin a new one, I want you to remember all of the positives while here. I do not want you to quit. This is a new starting line and the whistle is about to blow. As we race toward our dreams, we are going to have both advances and setbacks. We are going to reach the finish line with both victories and hardships. No matter what the obstacle or challenge, you are a winner for getting to that finish line. Today, there are 170 winners before me, all waiting to get their prize. We have succeeded academically. We have changed someone's life by being a friend or by being a helping hand. We have made our time here one to be proud of and one that we are going to miss. I do not think Middlesex High School has seen a more spirited class than us in quite some time. Being the two-time Battle of the Classes Spirit winners, I know we spent our time here well involved in clubs, activities, and school events. I can only hope that the classes following us have as much Blue Jay pride as we do. I know that we are leaving behind a legacy of the grade with spirit, pride, and resilience. Before I finish, I want to thank the people who have made our years here so enjoyable with the countless number of events planned. Thank you to Middlesex High School Student Council, Senior Student Council, Mr. Perez, and Mr. Goldstein. We made a difference while we are here, and whether you are staying in Middlesex or leaving, you will continue to be successful. You will continue to make memories, and you will continue to make a difference in this world. But never forget where you came from, your hardships and victories, the people you have met. All of these experiences you have had while here are what made you who you are today. A class of 2015 Middlesex High School graduate. Thank you.
to get worded, dropping it again.
And a voice keeps saying, this is where I'm meant to be. I'll be there someday. I can go the distance. I will find my way. If I can be strong, I know every mile will be worth my while. Where I go.
In September of 2011, we walked through the doors of Middlesex High School as doe-eyed little freshmen, looking generally clueless as we attempted to locate our classes. And now, we stand here as seniors, about to graduate and be set off into an entirely new world. To say it's a weird feeling to finally be standing up here would be an understatement. Time has seemed to fly by, especially when one considers all of the memories made. The class of 2015 has never really been considered to be a go-with-the-flow kind of class. We have always chosen a certain path for ourselves and had a distinct uniqueness. This was made evident our freshman year when instead of allowing seniors to chant "Go home freshmen" at us like they were accustomed to, we retaliated with our own chant of "Goodbye seniors." We have always stood by each other, and while the amount of spirit we have may be found to be rebellious by some, I have found it to be one of our most redeeming qualities. Being such a small high school, everyone knows everyone. While this has its downfalls occasionally, it has also allowed us to become a family. A dysfunctional family, yes, but a family that loves each other nonetheless. As with all families, we have encountered good times along with the bad. We have all made mistakes, we have all achieved success and endured failure. But all of these experiences, the good and especially the bad, have added to our characters and the end result of each and every one of us standing here today. Each mistake, each triumph has been taken in stride because we could not just leap into becoming the adults we are today. We had to put ourselves together, piece by piece. Simple pieces like staying up all night to finish a paper, or spending hours in the ceramics room trying to finish that last project, or cheering and chanting at football games and showing other towns that even though we are small, we will not be overlooked, or even just seeing the same familiar faces for most of our lives. It's these pieces that have shaped us into the individuals we are today, and it's these pieces that we will carry with us as we move on to the next chapter of our lives. Yes, not all of our pieces are perfect. We have all failed many times. But as a class, we have stuck together through the past 4 years and have created an aura of unity. And although the future may seem unpredictable and frightening, the lessons we have learned from working together will help guide us through. I mean, what other class can say that even when all odds were against them, rose up and won the Battle of the Classes event as only juniors, and then again as seniors? Time and time again, we refuse to be silenced and refuse to be broken. As we move on to the next aspect of our lives, I hope you all carry with you the pieces that you acquired from your time at Middlesex High School. I hope you utilize the power of your own individuality to go forth and be successful in whatever path you choose. But I also hope that you remember your time here and remember your dysfunctional family. Each and every one of you has contributed to making our class who we are today. We have all faced many challenges through our 4 years, and we will face many, many more. We may not be able to conquer all that is thrown our way, but if we keep our feet planted and our heads held high, we can at least learn from all the new experiences we will encounter. The choices we make after graduating will immensely affect who we become, even more than those we experienced over our high school careers. While this may seem intimidating, the beautiful thing about that is our class holds so much potential. We will continue to grow as the powerful individuals we are, and it is through this strength that we will achieve greatness. I cannot wait to see what the future holds for us, and I'm so incredibly grateful for all the experiences and the pieces I have acquired over these past 4 years. Congratulations to the class of 2015. We made it.
So this is what you meant when you said that you were spent. And now it's time to build from the bottom of the pit right to the top. Don't look back. Packing my bags and giving the academy a rain check. I don't ever want to let you down. I don't ever want to leave this town. Cause after all, this city never sleeps at night. It's time to begin, isn't it? I get a little bit bigger, but then I'll admit I'm just the same as I was. Oh, don't you understand? I'm never changing who I am. So this is where you fell, and I am left to sell. The path to heaven runs through miles of cloud and hell, right to the top. Don't look back. Turn into rags and giving the commodities a rain check. I don't ever want to let you down. I don't ever want to leave this town. Cause after all, the city never sleeps at night. It's time to begin, isn't it? I get a little bit bigger, but then I'll admit I'm just the same as I was. Oh, don't you understand? I'm never changing who I am. It's time to begin, isn't it? I get a little bit bigger, but then I'll admit I'm just the same as I was. Oh, don't you understand? I'm never changing who I am. It's time to begin, isn't it? I get a little bit bigger, but then I'll admit I'm just the same as I was. Oh, don't you understand? I'm never changing who I am.
Class of 2015, the last 4 years have truly been a pleasure. Mr. Walsh and I are going to miss you greatly, so congratulations. Dr. Madison, please join me at the podium. Okay, Dr. Madison, the graduating class of 2015 has successfully met all of the New Jersey State educational requirements, as well as the requirements of the Middlesex Board of Education. The young men and women before you are in good standing and are ready to take on life's challenges. Therefore, it is with extreme pride and pleasure that I present to you the class of 2015.
Thank you, Mr. Sedato. Well, you know what? It was about 40 years ago when I was in high school, when I was a senior. I know, it's hard to believe. When I was in school, it wasn't much different than it is now. We basically had 3 groups, okay? And yes, they were labeled. We had the jocks, we had the heads, and we had the geeks. Parents, you could probably relate to some of what I'm going to say. I never thought of myself as in any one particular group. I was kind of that kid that was super involved, and at one time or another, I was probably part of one or all three of the groups. I was a decent student, but I had to really work at it. My grades were good. I was in the National Honor Society, but I had to scrape and claw for those grades. Nothing academic came very easily for me. I was that kid in elementary school that went out a couple times a day for reading and math help. But I always was a hard worker, and I always was driven to do my absolute very best. In high school, I was friendly with the geeks, who were the smart kids. We were in all the same classes together. Senior year, I took physics and calculus. We didn't have AP or honors back in the day, so physics and calculus were the hardest courses that we did offer in my high school. I remember having a study hall, the period right before physics, with a guy who turned out to be the valedictorian of the class. John scored a perfect 1600 on his SAT. We only had to take 2 sections back then. And he would give me a crash course on what was going to be on each test right the period before we took the test. So I would do well on it. He knew me, so he knew how hard I had to work for my grades. My whole childhood, I had a dream to attend Cook College, which is now called SEBS, the School of Environmental and Biological Sciences at Rutgers University. The reason being, my dad used to take me and the rest of my siblings there in the springtime. We used to go to the farm that was on the campus, and back then they used to allow you to shovel as much manure as you wanted into barrels. There were no plastic garbage cans then, or bags, so we used to shovel this stuff into the barrels, load it up into the trunk of the car, and take it home and plant our garden. But it was such a positive memory for us, and for me in particular, that I said way back then, that is the college that I want to go to. Because I wanted to be a veterinarian. I'm a huge animal lover. So, fast forward, senior year in high school, I applied for early decision to Cook College, and I didn't get in. I reapplied later for regular decision and was thrilled when I got that acceptance letter. That day was the first time I tasted champagne. Don't worry, as you know, 18 was the drinking age back then. I was on top of the world. When I attended that orientation in the fall, I was seated right next to the guy who got the perfect score on the SAT. He went to Cook College too. The speaker started to talk about how the Cook students were the elite of Rutgers University, how they had the highest GPAs and the highest SAT scores. And he went on to say that the average SAT for our class was a 1250. Now I knew I was sitting there with a 940 and just waiting for the predictable ribbing that I was going to get from John. And without missing a beat, he said to me, "Hey, how did you get here?" To which I confidently replied, "You're the whiz kid, do the math. You got a 1600, I got a 940, that's 1250, that's the average." Well, John and I are friends to this day. He went on to, believe it or not, Yale Law School, and is a successful attorney and restaurant owner in Dallas. And of course, you know my story. And the reason I'm telling you this story is to let you know that it isn't so much about book smarts in getting ahead and fulfilling your dreams. I'm personal witness to tell you, it's all about the perseverance, the grit, and the drive to want something bad enough, to apply yourself and work something hard enough so that you can achieve those goals that you set for yourself. As you probably figured out, I never became a veterinarian, although I am a doctor. I realized I wasn't going to successfully achieve that goal my first semester when I got a C in chemistry. But I always loved the sciences, and I found that I had a gift for teaching. I wouldn't have known that if I hadn't failed at becoming a veterinarian. I went on later in my career to be named the 1991, I know it sounds like a long time ago, it is a long time ago, I was the National Presidential Awardee for science teaching. I was one of 50 teachers in the entire nation to get that award. And then I became the first person in my family to earn a doctorate. Years later, I was honored with the George H. Cook Distinguished Alumni Award. It's the highest honor that a Cook alum can receive. And later, I nominated my friend John, who was named to that same society 2 years later. So the moral of my story, simple. We all have an inner drive. You all have it. Your teachers, your parents, everyone here believes in you and knows that you can be driven. What I want you to do is believe in yourself, kick it into high gear, and get going. Oh, and before I go, I have one more thing, because I have to tell you that you guys will always have a special place in my heart. I really am crazy about you, so I have to take your picture. All right, I'm going to go this way so I can get you all. Okay. Check it out on Facebook, Twitter. It'll be in my memory book forever. Thank you, and good luck to you. Thank you. And now it is my great pleasure to introduce our Board of Education President, Mrs. Sharon Schuler.
Welcome, graduates of the class of 2015, parents, families, and friends. It is an honor for me to be representing the Board of Education tonight. Graduates, as you enter a new stage of your life, do so with your eyes and mind open. Follow your dreams, but be mindful that those dreams can change, and be open to those changes and pursue the new paths ahead of you. Explore life, whether it takes you far from home or just around the corner. Be engaged in your own life and the lives of others, and know that however far you travel, you will always have a home in Middlesex. On behalf of the Board of Education, congratulations, class of 2015, and best wishes in your future endeavors.
Yes. Elena.
Carly Sarnowski. Megan Brower. Kara Seeley. Emily Garcia. Marco Oriamuno. Sarah Day. Brian Simone. Karina Dubon. Robert Caridi. Elena Kemi. Brandon Giovanni. Haley Stender.
That was her mom. That was the teacher with her mom. She did it for me? She did it for me?
Fernando Carrera. Catherine Cooney. Liam Connery. Cindy Mejia. Bismarck Sanchez. Jessica Aguilar. Kevin Simone. Zulima Montesinos. John Mascarinas. Nina Carbonero. Jason Vincent Guerra. Kelly Boyle. Josh Palazzi. Rebecca Torres. Jose Manrique. Yuen Tran. Roberto Villanueva. Sarah Matero. Neil Baker. Gina Carbonero. Luis Burgos. Samantha Rendazzo. Giancarlo Zapita. Yanilas Nuez Jaquez.